You should do it in any order you want. I just this stuff happened.
Hi all.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah.
good morning.
Morning,
Ah,
sir.
So, do you people have any doubt from yesterday's class?
no, sir.
No, sir.
Then let us start today's class. Any one of you tried to install Oracle in their system?
Yes, sir, I've done that.
Okay. Were you able to install it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I did it. Okay.
Okay, who was speaking?
Nikita.
Okay. What about others? I think Vijay Lakshmi already has Oracle installed, right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
have
sir.
access.
Yes,
Yeah. What
already
about
installed.
Monica and Pooja?
Yes, I have.
Sir, I will try today, sir. Oh,
Yeah, please try Pooja, because like whatever we are teaching, right? If same day if you practice, that will be easy for you. Okay.
okay, sir. Okay.
So we have completed what is RDBMS and Oracle overview. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And this topic also, like types of database languages. So we have already touched all these topic: create, alter, drop, truncate, delete. But once again, let us like do one real-time example of all these things today. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
let me open. Okay, so let us go with this customers table already is there. Okay. So again, for table creation, normally we can create a table like this. Okay, and we can use some of the constraints also. Okay, so I will tell you first. Let us create a normal table, then I will tell you. So here you can see something called not null is there, right? So I will tell you like what is this constraints and all. So first let us create this table. This is very basic command, like only create table, then whatever table name you want to give. Customers 1 2 I'm giving because already I think customers table is there. If you again create with same name, it won't work, so that's why I'm giving different thing. And customer ID, customer name, city, these three are columns. As I told you like before also, ID is like some numeric data will be there, so we are giving number. Customer name,
Okay.
obviously name will be a string data type, so we are giving varchar2. City also will be string, so varchar2. Okay, so if we run this, your table will be created. customers one to table created. Okay, just it is not mandatory for DDL to this do commit, but I have this habit of doing commit for everything, so better to do this, or else if you don't follow this habit, even for DML you might forget and it won't be committed. Okay, so I'm doing commit. So just to check whether it is there or not, I will do DESC customers 1 2. So all the columns are there. Okay, so now let me make you understand what does not null means. Okay, so if I'm inserting any record to this customers 1 2 table, okay, I will show you uh, customers table. Already records are there, right? I'll show you that records are there. See, already records are there, right? So here like customer ID, customer name. So here we have kept like C name and city. So these three columns, don't consider this one, we'll discuss later. So these three columns, you can see the data. So here we are giving not null for the column one, customer ID and customer name. These two we are giving not null. What does it mean? Like if we try to insert any data and we are not inserting any customer ID, okay, we are giving it as a blank. Okay, so it means it is null. If you are not inserting anything, you are leaving it blank means it is null. But what we have given condition here, it should be not null. All the data which is there in this column should be not null only. You can't get a null data. Okay, so here you will be seeing there is no null thing. Here also actually it's not there, but if we want, we can means insert a record with city as null. Okay, null means nothing. Like for example, if you are passing an insert statement, I'll show the insert statement how it looks. Anyways, we'll be discussing this, but just for your understanding, I want to show it. Okay, so this is insert into some table. Your column names you will be giving, corresponding values you are passing. Okay, so for example, customer ID here, customer name and comma, your city is there. So customer ID you should give some value, customer name you should give some value, city if you give comma, then you open a single quote and then close the single quote. You are not giving any value, it is a blank. Okay, then what it will do, it is taking null value. Okay, it will represent here as null. So here you can see, right, it's null, NUL in bracket it is written. So it will come like this if you are not passing any value. Okay, so what will happen if you try this for these two columns? While inserting for customer ID and customer name, if you try to insert blank records, so it will be failure. Okay, you have to keep this in mind. It will be, surely it will be a failure. So you should avoid doing that. Okay, uh, that again depends upon your requirement. I'm not saying like every time you are creating a table means initial two columns put as not like that. Your last column might also be not null, anything like. So like this, other constraints are also there. What we are restricting some kind of data to enter into that column, right? So this is called as constraints. These are called as constraints. So few other constraints are also there. Okay, so other constraints like primary key is also a constraint. Okay, then unique, if you are using unique, that is also a constraint. There should be a topic. Let me open constraints topic so that I can show you all the examples. constraints in Oracle. See, not null, these are column constraints, okay? Not null, we already saw primary key is there, unique is there, foreign key is there, check is there. Mostly check we don't use, okay? You should focus on these constraints. What is it? So not null means specifies that this column cannot hold null values. Means blank values it won't be holding. If you give any column as not null, it won't hold the blank value. This one is gone. Next is, let us not see directly primary key, let us see unique. Okay, if you give any, for example, the city, if I am passing as unique, right, then what will happen? It should have unique value only distinct value. Here you can see some values are getting repeated. See, BLR two times, Bangalore is getting repeated two times, right? So if you, Hyderabad also two times, if you try to repeat any value, means duplicate value in city, if I put it as unique, it won't allow to insert any duplicate value. Okay, so if I'm trying to insert a duplicate value, automatically it will throw error. Okay, so that is what we call as unique constraint. Okay, the error will be like unique constraint error, something, it will throw error. Okay, so now what is a primary key? Primary key is a combination of not null and unique. Okay, what does not null means? If we specify a column as not null constraint, it means you can't have a blank value. Okay, so same goes with primary key. If you are giving not null means primary key means it won't be having blank value. That is the first criteria. Second is it should be unique also, means it can't hold duplicate values. So to whichever column you are giving as primary key, two things you have to note. One is not null, second is uniqueness. Okay, this you have to, primary key is a very important thing, both in both for Oracle also, for having SQL knowledge also, and both for Informatica also. Okay, it's very important. If you have any doubt while I'm explaining, you can again ask me. If you want me to repeat also, I'm ready to repeat. Okay, so what basically it does it, for example, I'll be telling you in a practical way. For example, customer ID I'm giving as a primary key. Okay, so this 201 ID is there, right? It can't repeat again. 201 can't come, any value can't be 201. This is one criteria. Second is you can't have any null values. Combining these two criterias, it will be like primary key. If any of this criteria is violated, then that primary key constraint violated, some error will be coming. Okay, now this is also important, foreign key. What does foreign key means? I told you, right, in this is RDBMS. Okay, so there will be some relation between one table to other table, relational database management system. I told you in a demo class also. Okay, so if you see, for example, this EMP table, okay, employee ID is there. If you go to department table, again employee ID is there. Okay, so in EMP table, your employee ID is a primary key. Okay, but here in department table, it's not a primary key. It may be a foreign key. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying here they have used like that. It may be a foreign key. What does it mean? Like if this is a foreign key, primary key, you understood that it shouldn't be not null and it should be unique. But what for foreign key? Foreign key means it is completely depend upon means foreign key means parent, this primary key and foreign key will be having parent child relationship. Okay, So your primary key, the table which has that column as a primary key, that is your parent, and this is your child. Okay. So if you want to delete anything from this employee table, any employee ID, for example, 405, let me open department table. Oh, so this is customer ID, sorry. I'll run department table as well as employee table. So these are the records 100, 101, 102, 100, 300. Okay. So few records, whatever you have seen there, here also it is there. Okay. So now if there is a primary key, this is primary key and this is foreign key, then what will happen if you directly delete 100 from EMP table? EMP is the parent table, right? EMP is parent table.
Parent.
This is parent table and this is child table. So, okay. So if you delete a record from parent table and that record is there in child table, so that will become an orphan, right? That child will become an orphan. Okay, so here also we will be considering that same logic. So you can't delete a record from a parent table if that record is present in the child table. Okay, if you have a foreign key like primary key relationship. Okay, so this employee ID, before deleting from employee table, I need to delete from department table. If I delete from department table, then only it will allow me to delete from employee table. Okay, so whichever is having the foreign key, you should delete that record from that foreign key first, foreign key table. Then you can delete from the primary key table, means the parent table. Okay, first you have to delete from child table. Okay, if something happens to a child, a parent can still, he is independent, he can still live. Okay, if something happens to parent, that child will become orphan. It is very difficult for him. Okay, so that is how they follow like parent child relationship. So you should remember the about this. So your parent is the table which is having your primary key. And your child is which is having your foreign key. Okay. You should remember this. Okay. So this kind of relationship we might be having in some cases in real-time scenarios also. Okay, so you have to understand the dependency. So if you want to delete any record in this employee table, you need to see that whether the record is present in department table. If it is present, you can't directly delete from here. First you have to delete from here, then you have to delete here. Okay, any doubts?
No, sir.
No.
This was about your constraints. These are the 4 constraints which we will be experiencing in real-time scenario. Okay, so let us see about now. So this table creation you already understood, right? Create table, table name, these 3 columns, and we are giving not null constraint here. Okay, so now let us create a table which is having like primary key. Okay, I am doing a copy paste. Please, you don't do copy paste for yourself also, because I am doing so that we can do it fast. or else I have to type this much. It will take time, right? That's why I'm doing. Don't do, please copy paste. If you don't understand anything, you can anytime ask me. Okay. First, before like creating a table, you try to have a structure, like what should be your columns, what should be the column data type, and the table name. Okay, then you create it seeing that. Okay, don't just copy paste. Okay, so here these three things are there. Extra what I'm doing is, let me put as one. Okay. Extra what I'm doing is I'm keeping as a primary key. If I run this, there will be some error. Okay. I'm telling beforehand only, some error will come. See, error is coming. Can anyone tell what is the error? Just a guess. If you don't know also, just try. I will I will tell you anyways. This one.
It is already in existing
What is already
foreign
existing?
key or
What is already existing?
child. Sorry,
See,
foreign key or something.
here I'm not here I have not defined any foreign key. This is only primary key. Yeah. So anyone else? Just I want to make you aware of what kind of errors it might come. So that's why I'm asking you. I did a mistake. So that you can, okay, it's fine. So try to read through this anytime when you are getting, so even if you are getting some doubt, you can copy paste this error code in Oracle, it will tell you. But this error I already know, that's why I can tell you, don't need to Google it. So name already used by an existing constraint. Okay, so what is constraint? I already told you here what constraints we are using. Not null constraint and primary key constraint. Okay, for
Not
not null,
oh,
we don't need to give any name. Are we giving any name for this constraint? We are not giving, right? But for primary key, we are giving a constraint name. You can see customers pk is not a column name, this is primary key constraint name. Okay, so already I have a customers table, right? There already a constraint name customers PK is there. Okay, again I am trying to create with the same name, the primary key constraint. So that's why it is failing. Now I have changed the name. See, now it will pass. See, created, there is no issue now. Okay. So anytime if you are getting any kind of error, right? See, 100% we are human beings. We can't be perfect. We will be doing mistakes. Okay. But in IT industry, it's important like how fast you recognize your mistake. Okay. It is very like good, like in Informatica and Oracle, that since it is been used since a very good amount of time, so the error code you can just copy paste in Google and you can search. That is one way. Another thing, like before doing that, just try to read through the error. What is the error? Even if you think you won't be able to, sometimes just reading only will give you a clarity. There it was written constraint name, it is repeating. Okay, so not null, we don't need to keep any constraint name. Only for primary key or foreign key we need to keep a constraint name. Here you can see we have kept a constraint name. So obviously this is the issue. Okay, so you can try like changing this constraint name and you can run. So it will 100% it will be resolved. Okay. So that's what this kind of things you need to recognize. Okay, so any doubt on this?
No
sir.
good.
So this is the syntax. Whenever you give a primary key, you should give constraint, then you should give some constraint name, then you should mention primary key, and you should mention on which column you want to which column you want to keep as a primary key. I'm using like customer ID as a primary key. Okay, so you need to mention here. If you don't mention, then also it will be failure. For example, I'm removing this. Okay, I'm trying to create some other table name. I have changed constraint name also. I'm changing. Missing left parenthesis means, so here so left parenthesis it will be there, then right parenthesis. Here you need to give the column name you have to mention, right? So you have not mentioned that, that's why it is throwing error. Okay, so sometimes here you are not able to understand the error code nicely. If you read only missing left parenthesis means where you are missing and all, but sometimes the error code is like in previous error it was very much easy to understand because constraint name is already there, it was saying. But sometimes your error like you won't be understanding. But if you see carefully, like if you know the syntax, if and you have made mistake, if you don't know syntax, then it's completely different case. Obviously you will not be understanding. But if you know the syntax, like okay, you need to mention one column name for the primary key. So you have not mentioned, you will understand because it parenthesis should start here. So that only it is uh, uh, trying to tell. Okay, so that's how it works. So any doubt in this?
No, sir.
So let us move to, already we have discussed what is how to create a table, what are the main constraints in Oracle. Now I told you like yesterday, uh, did you practice Nikita? I told you, right? 1 equal to 0.
Yes, sir. But I didn't practice that query. I just practiced create table query. I didn't go further.
Okay, fine, not an issue. So I'll show you that. I told you like I'll show you today. So I'll show you that. So for example, let us take a simple example. Table. Let us create any backup table for department. So the table name also you have to give, create table name, since department KP. You can write it in a same line, it doesn't matter, just for better look I'm putting it like this. So it is created. So if I try to run this, see the data is there, right? Okay, So the backup data is there. Now, what Nikita asked yesterday, she wanted to copy without data. So again, another thing. So we should check whether our definition is correct or not. That is also important.
Mm.
Okay, so first let us see department. What is the definition? Employee ID, salary, department name. Okay, these three are there. So for the backup also it should be same. So it is same. Okay. So the structure is same, and the data also you can check. You can run this query. Only select star from department. 100, 101. These 5 records are there. Same 5 records here also. Okay. So now if we want to take a backup, normally when we use this is like if we want to take a backup of any table. So it is very common practice to take a backup. Why should we take a backup of a table means, for example, I am doing any DML changes in some table. Okay, so I have updated some data or I have deleted some data because of some requirement I am having. Okay, so the same table will be used by some XYG person also, right? I'm not the only person who is using department table. So if I don't keep a backup, and if something goes wrong, the old data also I can't get, right? So this is the practice, like to keep a backup whenever you any developer who follows the process, he will definitely keep a backup if he is doing some DML changes. Okay, anything you are manipulating with data, you'll definitely keep a backup. Okay, so this is done. Now copy data, like without copying data, if I want only to copy structure where 1 equals to 0. Okay, so I'm not running the whole statement. Just if you first try to run this, understand what is this statement about. See, no data is coming. Why no data is coming? Can
Because
anyone tell me?
because the condition is false, right? And it is
Yes.
not retrieving any data.
Yeah.
Condition is
If,
false.
if you try to run this query, select star from department, then data is coming. But in where clause, you are giving a wrong condition. 1 can't be equal to 0. Okay. So that's why it is not taking. If this itself is not taking any data, do you think this will be having data?
No.
So that's what happens. Like I need to change the name or else it will throw error. Okay. So see, it is created successfully.
Hmm.
Now if I run this query vkp1, you are not having any data, because what you have selected here, this one itself is not giving any data. So obviously you are copying this thing only, right? So if you are copying something which is not having data, so obviously here also you won't be having data. But here structure, department table is having structure. It is not means this query whatever is there is not throwing any data, but this department table has its structure, so structure will be copied, but data is not copied here. Okay, uh, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Others understood how to create a backup without data?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are done with create table. So let us go to alter table. Okay. So I told you already in previous class also, like multiple things we will be doing using the alter thing. One is like adding, then modifying, then renaming, and dropping. Okay, it's 4 activities we can do. Okay, so let us first see for how to add a column using alter table statement. Okay, so we have a table already, customers 1 2. So let us try for that. I'm putting as customers 1 2. See, table customers 1 2 has been altered. Okay. This is altered. Now if you check the definition, before customer age was not there. Now you will be having customer age also. Whenever you do any modification on the structure of the table, just to double check, you do this. In real time, they will say like you have to write some test cases, right? So this can be one of the test case. If you are doing describe and you are getting this customer age, means this is successful. Addition of this column to this table is successful. That's why it is reflecting here, or else it wouldn't have been reflecting here. Okay.
So we can also give constraints to this new column also, right?
Ah, yes, you can give constraint also. That one also I'll tell you. I'll give you one example. You can add constraint also. So here, if you see, initially the data type what it was for customer name varchar 250. Okay, this is not null. Okay, so not null is already there. If you put again not null, right, it will fail. I will show you. Not null constraint is already there. If you write a modify statement and again give not null, it will fail. See, invalid identifier, because not null constraint is already there. Oh, let me first, sorry, this is wrong error. Already customer name is, it's not there in that table. I should have used customers 1 2. Here, column to be modified to not null is already not null. Okay, so it's already not null.
None.
If already you are having a constraint, again you are mentioning the same constraint, it won't work. For example, if I modify city, okay, there if I try to add not null, then it will work. City was there, right? Where get to? Now I'll try this. Now it should work. See, it is working. Okay. So here, city not null. Initially it was nothing. Now we have changed to not null. Okay. So this is the thing. This is how you can modify. So our main motto by using this modify was to change the data type length. Okay, initially it was 50. Now my requirement is like it should be 100. Okay. So this is done. Any doubts on modify statement, modifying a column using alter table?
No, sir.
Now how to drop a column. Alter table. So here, whatever you are doing, whatever kind of operation using alter table, syntax will be almost same. Every time you will be writing alter table, table name, then what operation you want to do. Here I wanted to add, so I did add. Here modify, here drop, or next will be rename. So rename I will be writing. The rest things will be same. Okay. So here data type is not needed because I'm dropping the column itself. I'm not modifying or updating something. Okay. So obviously data type is not needed. Okay. So let me put it as 1, 2. It is altered. Now that column shouldn't be there, customer name. See, customer name is not there. Means it is successful.
We can also erase the data and keep the column name also, right?
You want to remove the data.
But I want the column to exist in the table.
You want column should be there, but you
There,
want
but
to
yeah,
remove the data, right?
data, right?
So here the problem is, if you want to remove the data,
Hmm.
you can remove on a record basis, not column basis.
Okay, got it.
If I want to remove like a customer name, all the records, I want to like remove it and make it null. Okay, first of all, that won't happen because we have like not null constraint is there. It won't permit. Okay, if you are deleting that particular customer name, for example, Rohan is a customer. Okay, you are deleting customer name, means record with customer name as Rohan. That customer city, age, all things will also be deleted. Okay, for everything there is a way. Okay, you need to find out a solution for this. What you can do, something called soft delete. Soft delete means you will update that whole column as null. You got it right? Like I'm not explained you till now what is an I gave just a basic idea yesterday what is the update statement. So what I will do, customer name, wherever, for example, some customer name I want to delete, like Rohan is there, so I want to delete that data. Other columns should not affect, only customer name, that record data should be deleted. So I will do what I will do, where customer name equals to Rohan, there I will set customer name equal to null. Okay,
Yeah.
so it will do that. But if you have a not null constraint, then it won't permit null values, so it will fail. Okay, again you have to see, if you want
Right.
to insert null, then you have to remove that not null constraint.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We can
So
remove the constraint after giving it also, right?
removing a constraint means, again you need to modify. You can do one thing, like you can drop that column name. Okay, for example, customer name, like this, you can drop it. Again, while adding customer name, don't give that constraint.
Sir, can you repeat?
Yeah.
This will resolve both of your problem. What was your problem statement initially? What was your requirement? What you told is, for example, customer name is there, right? This
Right.
should not be having data. You don't want to drop this column, but you want to drop the data
Data.
within it.
Right.
Uh, Should not have data. Okay. So this is the criteria what you want. Okay. So what we can do to get this, to achieve this, there is a tweak that first we will drop the column name. Okay, using like this customer name. Then
Okay.
again we will be adding customer name, and this time we won't keep it as not null. Only we will pass that customer name, some data type. That's it.
Got
So
it.
the data, when you are dropping this, the column as well as data both is dropped, right? When you use a drop statement, both are removed.
Yeah.
Now when you are inserting a customer name means, though the definition is added, but data is not there because you have removed all the data. Now again you have to insert the data.
Right.
So in that way you can do. I will show you a real-time example. I'll do it and show you so that you can understand. So let us take any backup table. Select from. So now what I want is, I don't want salary. I want salary, whole salary thing to be removed. Okay. So what I will do, I'll do alter table, this drop column. So my table name is this one, right? Department
Department
backup.
backup.
Okay. I'll put it here. Drop column name, I'll put it as salary. Altered. So if you check now, let me copy it here only, not this one. Department backup, where is it? This one. See, that column itself is not there. Okay, because we dropped that column. Now instead of drop, I'll use the add. Some data type we need to give. Some syntax mistake is there. Department backup, alter table, DPT backup, add column. Okay, add column is not needed. So here, if you see the syntax, add is there, column is not needed. Okay. So if you do any small syntax mistake also, it won't like allow you. Now it is altered. Okay. Now if you run this, you will be having that. See, all are null.
Yeah.
So whatever is your requirement, if for example you were my customer, okay, you give me a requirement. If I do it in a single shot, it is not working. So I need to, if I need to write 2 queries for it, I need to write it. At the end of the day, I need to give solution. That is why we are getting paid, right?
Right.
So that is when like you should think. every time it won't be very simple, like just add a column or just remove a column. Sometimes like this, a little bit a tricky scenario also they can give.
Hmm.
That time you have to think a little bit, so you will get it. Okay. This will come only by practice. You don't have to worry like what will happen with me and all. So initially when you are joining a company, like they won't be expecting too much. Slowly you will be learning if you are working on a real time basis and all. That's why I prefer more on writing these queries and executing and showing you to you people, rather than telling definition what is an alter table, what is how to add it and all. Because here you are seeing the real time thing. If you are having any issue, you will understand. Other thing, like your practicing this from your side is also that much important, because now if I'm explaining, everything will be like bread and butter. It is very easy, this thing and all. But when you practice, for example, I wrote add column salary and it is throwing error, you will scratch your head where I am doing mistake, everything is correct and all. Okay.
Hmm.
So since I have practiced so many times, I'm working on this. So I understood, yes, okay, there is some syntax error. So let me check the other statement which I have done. So here column was not there. So immediately I have changed. So within few seconds, uh, I rectified the mistake. So that if you commit any mistake, then how to rectify it, that will come with experience only when you practice it. If you don't practice, you won't get that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are done with the drop column, we are done with modify, we are done with adding.
Yeah.
Only the rename is needed. Okay. So let us go with rename. Customers 1 2. I have dropped, I think so, here from this table. Let me check whether that column is existing or I have dropped it. I have dropped customer name. So let me add it first. It is altered. Before running this, let us see the description. So customer name is there, varchar to 50. Now our requirement is to change the name of this. Instead of customer name, we want to keep it as C name. Okay. So let me run this. So it is altered. Do a commit. Now do a describe of it. See, C
Hmm.
name. Now there is no customer name, it is C name. Data type is same. Okay. So any doubt on how to rename a column?
No.
So we have successfully completed alter table and also the create table. Okay. So this is done. So I think we are good for today. So tell me any doubts regarding how to create a table or constraints in Oracle or alter table. Any doubt?
Sir, can you please repeat the constraint syntax and how to write the query once again?
Okay, fine. So we have like four constraints. One is not null constraint, other is primary, second is primary key, then unique and foreign key. Okay. So these are the four major constraints like which we will be using in our real time scenarios. Okay. So not null constraint or unique constraint, if you want, you can directly write like this while defining a create table. Just write beside it.
Hmm.
If you write unique, it will take unique. If you write not null, it will take not null. Okay. But if I want like primary key or foreign key, this here it's not there. It will be here. Hmm. So if you want to write a primary key just beside here, you can't put like just primary key, it won't work. You need to use this kind of syntax. Constraint, your primary key name, you have
Hmm.
to give some name to the constraint, then here primary key, then on which column you want to assign this constraint. Okay, I want to assign on customer ID, so that's why I have given customer ID. If someone for other requirement, it is for customer name, so they have to give like customer name. Okay, so same goes with foreign key. If I want to define ID as a foreign key, not a primary key, foreign key. Okay, so same, I will give constraint, some constraint name, whatever I can give. It's not a mandatory that I should give this customers underscore. Since it is a customer ID, I should give customers underscore PK only. You can give anything, but there will be some naming convention and all in your project. Okay, you have to follow that. Then instead of primary, you can write as foreign key. Then for which column you want to make it as a foreign key constraint, you have to mention it. For this, it was customer ID, a primary key. If you want same for customer, I mean, so foreign
Sorry.
key for customer ID, you can mention it. Okay. So the same key you can't give as both primary key and foreign key. Remember that. Like I want to give like in a same table, I want to give two constraint. One is primary key and foreign key for the same column. So that won't work. You have to give for some other column. If I have mentioned here for primary key, okay, if I do a copy paste here this and I add it here and just change the here as foreign key and just the name whatever I'll change, it won't work still, because this column you have created a primary key. So a same column can't be a primary key plus a foreign key. Okay, so you have to give some other name. Okay. So this was about like this four constraints. Any doubt? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any other doubt apart from this?
No.
No, sir.
Okay, then we are good to close the class for today. So we'll discuss this topic tomorrow. Drop, truncate, and delete table. Okay. So if we get time, we'll glance into select, insert, update also, but we'll mostly try to first understand drop, how to drop table. These are very simple. I think mostly it will hardly take 10 to 15 minutes to explain this. So there are not different scenarios. In create table, you were seeing like you can create a backup. There were constraints, different things were there. So it took time, but I don't think for drop, truncate and delete, it will take time. It is very easy thing. Then mostly tomorrow we will be covering these two topics. Okay.
Okay.
Then day after tomorrow, then we will be starting other things and all. So Saturday, at what time you people want, please update that to the consultancy people, like when you want the class, do you want same time or a little bit later, whatever is the timing. Okay, so that we we have a doubt clearing class on that, and we can mutually only 4 people are there, so we can mutually discuss tomorrow, like, do you even want for this week a doubt clearing class or not? So if you don't want, we'll not do, because sometimes it happens like, so no one is having any doubt, but the class is there, no one is attending and all. So mutually we can decide, even if one person wants that class, it will happen. Okay.
Okay.
Okay
Sir,
then.
tomorrow I am not available, like some busy.
Okay,
I want
you.
record
Yeah,
the
they will send
lesson.
recordings. I think they will send from all the recordings you will get, apart from the demo one.
Where can I
From
get that recording lesson?
the consultancy people, that
Oh, okay.
they will only provide you in your mail ID, whatever you have given to them. So that
Okay.
mail ID you will get, where you got this meeting invite, right? Zoom meeting invite
Ah,
from
yeah.
some mail ID you might have got. So
Okay.
same mail ID you will be getting. So you don't have to worry. Yesterday
Okay.
only I have talked with them. I told, like, you can see everything is recorded here. Okay,
Okay.
so just they have to download it, and they have to send it. So that is not a very difficult task. So we'll definitely get that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay then. Okay then. Bye.
Bye.